Welcome, everyone, to another podcast episode of Beyond Your Circumstance. And today we have another great one. In today's episode, we're going to be having Dacia Woessner join us. So, a little bit about her. Dacia's journey into the medical field is both really inspiring and profound, and I'm excited to learn more. She started her career as a registered nurse and navigated through personal health challenges, including thyroid disease and hormonal imbalances, which led her to evolve into nurse practitioner with a keen focus on functional medicine and root cause disease. Dacia's approach to healthcare is revolutionary. She crafts deeply personalized treatments for her patients by utilizing DNA and epigenetics, ensuring that each individual unique health blueprint is at the core of their wellness strategy. Dacia is not just a healthcare professional, she's a passionate advocate for empowering patients, guiding them towards achieving optimal wellness by understanding and addressing their specific needs. Her dedication to this cause is deeply rooted in her belief that personalized care is paramount to effective treatment. And off duty, she has a beautiful life. She became a mom at 44 and a half years old. We have to include that half. A miracle baby who is the light of her life and is going to be turning 8 in April, which is awesome. Alongside her role as a mom, she celebrates 20 years of marriage with her best friend and life partner, who serves as a captain in the fire department. So I want to learn more about you and some of the things that we have talked about, like your own practice with DNA and epigenetics. But let's just welcome you right now. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
What a great introduction, Stephanie. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. Really, truly. This is great.
Yes. So I want to know a little bit more about maybe some of the struggles that you had personally as a mom, or even just entering into motherhood, and just share with the audience how you were able to overcome that.
So, my journey started a little bit later in life with having a child. Basically, I call her a change of life baby. I had started struggling very early with menopause or perimenopause issues, thyroid disease, weight gain, depression, exhaustion, all of those things. I had gone from doctor to doctor, and everybody, kind of like what we hear, they want to put you on antidepressants and
Mhm.
they kind of want to sweep you under the rug. I've even had some doctor say to me, well, welcome to your 40s, honey, and kind of like buck up. And yeah. And so I knew this wasn't what I wanted for myself. And then I started thinking that, other women cannot be wanting that kind of treatment also. So I dove into the functional medicine world, where we really are patient centered, not disease centered. Because
Mhm.
that's kind of what happened when I became a nurse practitioner. I started seeing a lot of patients and I was treating their diseases. They'd come in every 3 months. I'd refill prescriptions. Nothing was ever, being, in my opinion, fixed. So that's how I kind of got into that field. Helped myself with my thyroid, helped myself with my hormones. And now I'm hopefully going to spread it to the world.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. And I truly believe that as well, to look at each person individually and not just the disease, right? And sometimes these things occur because of other things that are going on, and it's not actually looked at, right? When we go to the
Right.
doctor, I've heard too many times from different clients that, oh, they told me I can't lose weight. It's just my age. It's just menopause or whatever. So, that's amazing that your journey in your practice and your career has got you from seeing healthcare in a different way. And so what was your like reaction and feelings about now becoming a mom in a later age? Because 44 and a half, I know when I had my daughter, I was just turning 35. Like
Okay.
the month she was born, I was just turning 35, and they already labeled me as geriatric.
Yes.
So how was that for you?
The advanced maternal age, right? That's what I
Mhm.
got. I got advanced maternal age. Well, to be honest with you, my husband and I had suffered quite a few losses. It was I could get pregnant, I couldn't stay pregnant. And that was a very difficult thing. So in that kind of mid-turn journey, I did start talking to a functional medicine doctor, and I started on just one hormone of progesterone, and he optimized my thyroid. And isn't it coincidental that I got pregnant during that time and I didn't miscarry?
Wow.
And that was really an eye opener for me. And he said to me when he handed me the cream, and I'm not making any claims, I'm not saying, it's he said, you could get pregnant. And I was like, he goes, you have a better chance of getting pregnant. I said, hey, it's just not going to happen. And because I was kind of sporadic with my menstrual cycle, I really didn't even know I was pregnant till I was almost 3 months into it. And when I called the doctor, I said that I had taken a home pregnancy test, and she even was kind of like, well, just come in and we'll kind of see where we are. And was
Mm.
told not to get too excited. And so it was a nerve-wracking time. I didn't tell anybody in my family till about December. She was born a month early in April, but becoming a mother at that age, I do have the challenges of being older and wondering about how we age, being 60 something at her graduation. But on the other hand, I love the fact that I'm patient. I, have more of an appreciation, I believe, because I worked so hard to get her. And I know she's my one and only, so I really have enjoyed embracing motherhood at an older age for sure.
That's beautiful. And it's so funny, like the stages that we kind of go through, like being very young, we look at it through a different lens, and then
Yes.
the different stages of our life and being older too. I always say, like, as you get older, it's not like you're getting old, but you're getting wiser. You
Right.
have all
Yeah.
these years and experience to look at life differently. And how
Yes.
beautiful that is. It's like oftentimes when I hear about these stories, it's like when you least expect it. You know,
Yep.
it's not when you're constantly like worrying about things, obsessing about things. Am I going to get pregnant? And, just getting that in your mind where you can kind of internalize it and say, something's wrong with me. I hate the way that my body is, and all these different things. But then in the moments where we kind of just release it, whether
Yep.
it's because of doubt or just because we're giving up on ourselves, or maybe we're just having a little bit of hope, but like having a pause, it's kind of just like where that beauty just unleashes. So
Yes.
that's pretty awesome. And your daughter was born the same month my daughter was born, except
Oh, okay.
much bigger age gap. My daughter's going to be turning 4 in April.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's just amazing. So one of the things I want to kind of ask you is now for you, you have your practice, your main practice, your career, and then you're also doing kind of like a side business as well. And like all of us, right? We have our children to manage, we have our home to manage, we have our spouses. How do you feel managing all of that together? Like, being at your brick and mortar and doing things at home, and then, managing the mom life.
The month, right.
Mhm.
So I have come to realize as much, I don't know about all the other women, but I bet you I could guess that they feel probably the same way, is I've realized that we cannot get
Mm.
away without our self-care. Period. End of story. I don't know if it's 20 minutes of meditation. I don't know if it's 20 minutes of getting out and going for a walk.
Mm.
I find that I can handle my to-do list if I just find a way to take a few minutes, for myself. So I've learned to somewhat prioritize what is really most important to me, what comes first. And I really feel like, working at the brick and mortar and kind of trying to do working in a side hustle, I want to do it because we all kind of want that freedom of being able to be with our family when we want, to do what we want. And that's really important to me. So handling mom life and juggling all the other balls in the sky, we just kind of take some time for ourselves as best we can and really let go of the perfection, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not a perfect mom every day. I'm not a perfect nurse practitioner every day. I'm not a perfect wife every day, that's for sure. And I've stopped being so hard on myself. I hear that all the time. Stop, give yourself some grace, give yourself some grace. And I always try to take my life and look at it when I'm struggling. And if I was somebody's best friend, right, what would I say? Would I be kind to that woman? Would I be gentle and give that woman grace? Would I see how hard she's trying? And I would just give that same advice back to myself because I think that's one of the things as moms, we are hard on ourselves, entrepreneurs, we want a better life. It's a hard thing to do, but we really feel like if we just take a little time for ourselves every day, don't expect perfection,
Yeah.
and like you say, let it go, right? Like I have friends who are like, "Oh, I could never go to bed with a dish in a sink." And I'm like, "Why? It's going to be dirty tomorrow." Like just, I've learned to let some of that stuff go.
Right. Yeah, that is so important. And again, like you said, we don't generally think about it like that. And I think it's just the pressures and the weight of what we generally take on and what we feel like we should be taking on. So, like one example, when you just said about the dish in the sink, it popped in my head something that I had a conversation with my mom, and her idea of having like a perfect home is to make sure it's always clean, right? That's her idea. That's her experience. And maybe she was
Right,
brought up that way to think that way as well.
right,
And for me, I don't find that as the perfect way to live. Why? Well, yeah, I want my home clean. Of course I do. But at this stage in my life, I have three little ones, so two 6-year-old twins and a 3-year-old. They are constantly making mess in my home,
right,
constantly. And for me to be on them every single minute of the day, number one, it's going to frustrate me. So I might get boiled up with some
right,
anger, worry, stress, right? I'm going to be after them. And then it's going to take away from my time, my energy, my inner peace to be constantly doing that. And so I've gotten to the point where I am able to kind of listen to what I need in those times to be like, okay, it's okay that I'm not doing this 24/7. Be able to do the things that, fulfill me, that I know that are important, priorities, as you mentioned, and then have that time to keep my home tidy, when it fits. So, it took a while for me to get there because I was always trying to live up to my mother's, you know, what she
expectation.
thought. Yeah, her expectations. And I was like,
Yeah,
I just can't. I just can't
yeah,
because I saw how it affected my mental health. And
right,
so that was much more important to me than trying to, make someone else happy, even if it's my mother. Right. And so we have kind of these weights and pressures on us as women, as moms, through families, through generations, through social media and the news,
right,
what people expect us to have. And so being in tune with that is so crucial. So, so crucial. If you can just, stop being so hard on yourself, take time for pauses. Like I have to take a pause sometimes. If like I know that I'm just so overwhelmed or so like I'm going to get to that point of burnout or I'm just about to boil. Like,
yep,
I just need a pause. Like, all right, pause, stop everything I'm doing and just breathe or read something or, listen to some music to kind of just get me centered and grounded again. So, so important. Hey, Stephanie here. I just wanted to take a quick break from this episode to invite you to something really special. My free 3-day live event called Drop 10 and Keep It Off, happening November 18th to the 20th. I know firsthand that juggling mom life, work, and everything else while trying to reach your weight loss goals can feel overwhelming. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to stay that way. In this live event, we're diving deep into the real strategies that help moms like you lose the weight and keep it off for good. You'll learn proven steps I have used to lose 76 pounds, plus the exact mindset shifts that will get you out of that cycle of dieting frustration and starting over. Imagine waking up every day with more energy, loving the way you feel, and knowing you're living as your best self. Not just for you, but for your family too. That's what I want for you, and this event is your first big step to getting there. So join us November 18th through the 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Just go to the link in the description below. It's completely free, and I'll be there live with you every step of the way. All right, let's get back to this episode. Now that you are further in as a mom, so she's 8, right? She's going to be 8. And here, I think, well, you can let me know and let the audience know where you're at now as far as from practice, right? From registered nurse to nurse practitioner, and now venturing into your own business adventure. This is something completely new. Have you been in that business venture for a while? What is your next steps and how you want to make an impact in the world?
Yeah, well, I have worked for myself in the past. My parents were both entrepreneurs, had their own business. And I really just have always liked working for kind of more of, myself and bringing things, out into the world. As a nurse practitioner working for corporate, my hands are sometimes tied with what I can do and what I can recommend. I have to stay by, standard of practice and all those guidelines. So I did go back to school about a year and a half ago to get my degree in functional medicine, integrative health. It's kind of a new venture for me to be more of a telehealth. And then I picked up the brick and mortar one or 2 days a week at a wellness med spa that I work there. And it's been a great experience so far, but I'm brand new with bringing it out into the world. And my hope is that people understand that we are all complex, that we're not all the same, that we all can't do the same diet, the same supplements, the same foods. And with my epigenetics and my DNA kind of component, I can really hone in on what's really a precise health blueprint for that specific person.
That's awesome. I really like that. And what you said about like everybody is different in their approach to, wellness and even working with people for specifically weight loss. I don't look at it as this is the only diet that you should be doing to lose weight because we're all different and we all respond to different things very, very differently. But that's awesome. And I'm really excited for you on your venture where you're going. Do you feel anything, whether it's being a mom or being married or anything in your life has held you back from being able to move forward in your business venture, your career?
Of course, right? So we could talk about my self-doubt, for 10 more podcasts and then some, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so amazing to me when I really look at my life and I think about some of the things that I have done. My husband and I had an established business in Massachusetts and things didn't work out. He wanted to be a fireman. We were making well into 6 figures, had just gotten married, had just finished remodeling our dream home, and circumstances came up and he just says, I just want to be a fireman. And I was like, well, let's find out where you can be a fireman then.
Mm.
And it was Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We literally sold everything on a dream,
Wow.
packed a U-Haul, put our cats in the front, trailered the car on the back of the U-Haul and had a house out here. And he wasn't even on the fire department yet. We had $10,000 in the savings account, no jobs. And we made it happen. Like we did it. I went back to school to become a nurse practitioner. If I was in Massachusetts, it never would have happened. He's now a captain on the fire department. He's got 6 years left and he's going to be retired. I think of that story. I think of those kids. There was no stopping us. We were like, it's going to happen and we're doing it and we're leaving everything behind. How can that same girl get up some days and feel like, how am I ever going to do this? How am I ever going to, sometimes face the day? How am I going to face the challenges? How do I put myself out there? My big one, well, who am I? Who wants to hear from me? Who wants my story? But what really does help, and I think we've talked about this with Jen Gottlieb too, is help one person, right? So if I think of me, right, when I was feeling the worst, if I could find somebody like me that was talking to me and help me, that would make all the difference in the world, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of just try to focus on that when I feel insecure about things, about trying, and it's been very challenging. I mean, I'm 52 years old. I have an 8-year-old, right? So now my retirement's my college fund, right? So I have to pivot with that whole idea. And then now I'm learning something completely new. I'm not doing things that I did as a nurse practitioner. I'm looking at it in a whole different light. I'm working in a med spa with a completely different type of environment that I'm not used to as a regular, nurse practitioner doing home health. But I feel like I should be proud of myself for being, I guess, a little brave to make such a change a little bit later in life. And the other thing that probably does hold me back a little bit is I really love my family time. So
Mm.
I really have to balance. Sometimes I have to come home at 6 o'clock at night and I have paperwork to do or things to do when I really just want to be with my family. So I would say the two biggest things is probably a little bit of confidence and obviously wanting to spend a lot of time with my family.
Yeah. And I think, that's probably what a lot of us desire as we are venturing out in maybe our audience is trying to start a business, maybe they're focusing on their career, or you could be a stay-at-home mom and you're listening right now, but you're trying to do a couple of different things for your family and juggling it all. For me, I am a stay-at-home mom. I have owned my own business, but I'm also homeschooling my kids.
I know. That's amazing.
That's a challenge. That's like a
Yes,
job all on its own. And sometimes I can feel like that place of self-doubt as well. Like, who do I think I am that I can run a business, impact people, and still take care of my children well, or
right,
be, a good wife and manage the home well? Like, I should be probably if I surrender to those negative thoughts, it would be like I should probably crash and burn. Like I probably
right.
should let go. I probably should, what I think I'm doing a business, right?
Right.
And I like to talk about how those kind of things, like those kind of feelings, the imposter syndrome, the self-doubt, they come in waves, right? They come in waves. It's never always perfect. And it's never
Right.
always just feeling down in gloom and not having any type of confidence. And that definitely needs to be practiced. Like building up your confidence definitely needs to be practiced over and over and over again so that when those days of feeling down comes, you can get through it a little bit quicker. You can
Yeah.
feel a little bit happier or feel a little bit more motivated when that happens, to feel a little bit more of that level-headedness instead of complete like doom, right?
Right.
But I truly feel like this word probably has been overused so many different times, but I believe in it. Like I believe we're super moms. Like
Yeah.
we have the ability to do so much more than we actually can believe we can do. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I just want to honor everybody that's listening to this today because no matter where you are right now in your journey, that you are doing your absolute best. And that if you are doubting just a little bit, it only means that you are even great. You're like a great mom because you are wanting to do more and be more for your family.
Yeah.
So as we are starting to wrap up, I want to know if you have any other words of encouragement or advice for the audience today before we leave.
Well, I would like to agree with you, Stephanie. I would say all us, women out there, moms, really lifting each other up. I think it's so important, to be part of the team and not part of what tears us down. It's so important to be together. And I agree, if everybody or anybody out there has a dream, has a desire, and it, may not look like what you expect it to look like today, it could tomorrow, it could next year, keep believing in yourself, keep loving on your babies, keep
Uh,
doing the best you can, right? And we're all here for each other for support. And I think that's the biggest thing, really, is we are so powerful and we are more powerful together.
oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And community is everything.
Yes,
So
yes.
I have loved our conversation today, and I just love everything that you're doing and all about. If you'd like to take the stage now to just let people know more about how to follow you, whether you're on social media or if you have anything going on that people can participate in, let us know how we can reach out.
All right. Well, you can find me on Instagram, Dacia Woessner NP, and that's Dacia Woessner NP. And that's really my main handle that I use. I am going to be doing a couple of group DNA and epigenetic testing, kind of giving them a blueprint of, diet, lifestyle, things that they can do to even, it doesn't even have to be necessarily about weight loss. It can be disease prevention, just feeling better, brain fog, all those little things. And I do once or twice a year, I do a functional medicine detox, and they can follow me on, my Instagram and find out more about me there. I
Awesome.
I really enjoyed this. You are great to talk to, and this has been an honor. I really appreciate you.
Yes, this has been awesome. And thank you so much for even being on our podcast episode today. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in for another great episode. I will see you guys on our next one next week. Bye.